So what you're looking at here is my Dahon Mu SL that I've did a review a few years back when I lived in New York, or when I lived in New Jersey and I was commuting to my work in New York. This bike helped me commute thousands of miles between the George Washington Bridge, the Fort Lee, the Uptown and the Midtown area in New York. And back then my review was based on a pretty much full stock group set and a setup. I didn't do much modifications to the bike, but after I moved back to Miami, I actually last year I did a full group set upgrade, and I changed the front chainring to a narrow wide chainring. And what you can see here is the Decus narrow wide chainring, 50 tooth. The original FSA chainring was a 53 tooth, paired with the back, which I remember it's 11 to I think 32, if I remember correctly. So more like a mountain bike kind of a setup. And I kept the back the same. However, when I went with the narrow wide chainring on the Decus, I went with a 50 tooth setup, and I must say the 50 tooth is probably a better setup for a folding bike paired with the 11 to 32. It goes pretty fast on the flat road. If I'm going on the 11 in the back and 50 in the front, I'm averaging, if I'm not, putting out the maximum power output, I can average at very comfortable pace 13 miles, 14 miles per hour with 50 to 11 setup. And granted, this is in Miami, extremely flat. There's not much you can climb on, maybe besides that little bridge bridging between the Key Biscayne and the Miami downtown area. That bridge had a little gradient, I believe like 8%, maybe 9%. That's the only area that you need gear in climbing in Miami. However, if you do live in New York or other hilly areas, I think a 50 tooth front, 11, 30 to 32 on the back is gonna be a great setup if you go with a folding bike instead of a hybrid bike. So there is that. And in this video, again, I am thinking about selling the bike, so I want to do a video before I sell it and just walk you guys over what I did, what kind of upgrades I did to this already fantastic bike to make it probably the best folding bike I've ever owned. Okay, the reason to sell it is I don't commute on a bike anymore in Miami. It's kind of dangerous here because the drivers in Miami are reckless, more reckless than New York. In New York, at least the drivers know there are a lot of cyclists, but in Miami there are not a lot of cyclists, so a folding bike doesn't really make sense for me. If I go out and have fun, I have just recently reviewed a flat bar road bike that I just bought, and I also have my S-Works Roubaix that I also reviewed a few years back that I still own, and still a fantastic road bike. So basically I have plenty of other bikes to go with, and this bike is just being sitting there, really nice, but just being sitting there, not used. The upgrade I did, as you can see, SRAM XO 10-speed grip shift, and extremely precise, fast, and it's just a joy to use, and it's super lightweight as well. Okay, I bought it used, however, in like new condition, and I was just glad I found the XO to replace the existing, I believe it was the X7 shifter or the X9 shifter, but that was 9-speed. So this is the XO 10-speed shifter. Also comes with a nice little red accent over here. Pairs perfect with my rear brake, which I used a red line from the Jaguar. And other upgrades I did. Okay, this I'm really glad I did a narrow wide on a folding bike, because it's pretty much a no-brainer. Before I did the narrow wide conversion, my front chainring had a tendency of outshift to the chain guard in the front if I drop the cog like really quick. If I'm on the fourth fifth cog and I want to go fast, I shift to the first gear. It usually drops the front to the, it usually like derails the front to the chain guard area, which made me have to stop fully, readjust the chain to make sure the chain gets back onto the chainring, and then I would ride. And I'm always in fear of shifting from larger cogs to the first cog, the 11 tooth cog. And after the conversion of the narrow wide, I tried really hard to shift from largest to smallest and try to really abruptly shifting. I tried go fast shifting, slow shifting. The front chainring just, you know, doesn't budge. It stays on the chainring exceptionally well. The deck has only cost me $22. If you want to go fancy and spend $80 on a, you know, a front narrow wide from a name brand, I don't think it's worth it, especially on this bike. Again, I rode thousands of miles on a non-narrow wide, and I think a narrow wide for $20 is gonna last me another, you know, 1,000, 2,000 miles before I need to switch to another narrow wide, a brand new one, and then just go from there. So I wouldn't suggest spending a lot of money on the narrow wide chainring. Just get a generic one from Amazon. Most of those looks nice and they work exceptionally well, and they also use the 7005 aluminum, which is a harder kind of aluminum for, you know, gearing setups. That's not steel. All right, so that's a smart investment if you are looking at upgrading your folding bike. Narrow wide chainring is my first consideration. Second consideration, if you have a Dahon folding bike that's probably like 7-speed, 8-speed, 9-speed, it's better that you had an 8-speed, because the 8-speed rear cassette is going to be fully compatible with a 10-speed rear cassette. So right off the bat, if you have an 8-speed or 9-speed, you want to go 10-speed, it's perfectly fine, and it's a great time to do it, and it's extremely easy to do. All I did is take out the old cassette with some tools, you know, that you need, cassette removal tool, and putting the new cassette that's 10-speed. I don't even think I need to put any spacers in there. I can't remember, maybe you need to, but just follow manufacturer's recommendations. Remove the old rear derailleur, putting the new rear derailleur, and putting the new cables for the rear derailleur, and that's pretty much it. That's how easy it is to actually upgrade your old folding bike from a 8-speed all the way up to 10-speed. To go 11-speed, birds. To go 11-speed, you will have to find a rear cassette that's compatible with 11-speed. Some of them might be. If you open up the rear cassette and there's a spacer for your existing 10-speed, you're in luck, because that rear wheel is going to be compatible with 11-speed. I can't remember if this one is compatible, but 10-speed is already more than enough for me with the 11 to 32 setup. Like I for the most part, I'm always on the faster gears, so I rarely climb. Really, it's already smooth enough as a 10-speed as is, right? So really no need to upgrade beyond 10-speed. And as for the front chainring, again, no need for a double crankset. A single is more than enough on the folding bike. And that's what I want to talk about for the Mu SL as an upgrade. The racing wheel set on the original Mu SL, this one, I think it's got kinetic. Yeah. So those racing wheel sets works exceptionally well. Thousands of miles in. The front one is still pretty true. The rear one is slightly out of true, so I need to actually take it to a bike shop to get it chewed, because obviously in order to service this racing wheel set that's aerial, I have to take the tire off, I have to take the inner tube off and chew it by turning from the inside, because the nipple is not exposed, so you can't really service this easily. That's the only downside that I found for this, you know, nice set of super lightweight wheel set. But other than that, a Maxxis, this is a BMX tire, which I found is perfect for city riding as well, or like on the sidewalks. It's wide. I think this is like a 2.1 or 2.3. It's plenty wide, and it's super grippy, and it's very thick. So in terms of puncture resistance, This tire works so much better than the stock tire that was on here, the Schwabel. Even though that tire is very fast, it's super prone to puncture. When I was in New York, I had to change the tire at least a few times, and I think I even did a video changing the tires. Okay, not fun. So a set of nice, reliable, thick, and grippy BMX tires on the 20-inch wheel is actually works fantastic. It also looks really nice. This is the Maxxis, I think, hookworm. Yeah, right there. So really no complaint about this bike. It's a fantastic bike, and I want to do a review with all the upgrades that I did. And yeah, the grip or the caliper brakes just works as good as disc brakes, if you ask me. Like even during the rain, like I rode a lot of times in the rain. The Avid, this is I think the single digit 7 maybe, or the SD7 or FR7, whatever. This one is with reach adjustments over here. I never used it, but it's kind of nice to have, and it's slightly more expensive than the FR5, I believe. So nice set of V-brake levers over here. The front, I chose the Shimano Dury front V-brakes. I found the Dury to brake slightly better compared to the single digit 7, which actually I think looks nicer. The single digit 7 I kept in the back because for the rear it still works kind of nice, and for the rear I don't need as strong of a braking power as compared to the front. So the SD7 pairs nicely with the paint color over here on the Dahon. By the way, this gray paint is beautiful. I just did a full wax on the paint, so it looks fantastic. All right, but the V-brakes again works as good as disc brake, and it's very lightweight. There's really no point to go disc brake on a folding bike, really no point. So I'm kind of sad because Dahon no longer makes super lightweight folding bikes anymore. This came out from, like, 14-15 years ago, and still to date today I believe this is one of the lightest bike you can get that still makes plenty of sense for commuting daily, which is exactly what I use it for. So again, if you're lucky you find a Mu SL in your local community, just buy it, okay? You won't regret it, and it should hold its value very well, and it's very easy to upgrade to a modern standard, right? Very easy to upgrade to a modern standard. 10 speed, up to date, shifts smoothly, fantastic. And the folding mechanism, again, this 2-point fold works so much better than Dahon's new 3-point fold on their newer bikes. And yeah, I love this bike. I'm sad I don't use it anymore, so I kind of want to sell it eventually, but I want to make this video out to help you guys, just taking a look at this bike and see what the potential there is to make this bike as nice, as comfortable as possible, right? If you have any questions about the Dahon Mu SL, again, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. I don't see many other reviews coming out for the Mu SL because it was kind of a high-end model back then and nobody actually bought it. For people who bought it, maybe they're not excited about this bike as much as me, so they didn't do a review about it or upgrade it, but I did, so I'm able to answer all the questions that you have. All right, so thanks again guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I will have more cycling videos coming out for you guys, okay? Nowadays I picked up my cycling hobby again, so I'm gonna find bikes to restore and find bikes to review, and maybe also do some local rides with the new GoPro that I'm gonna get. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.